we're gonna do a, we're gonna be doing a recap from the last part, right? So that we can.
Yeah, I got you, Carrie. Don't worry.
Oh, good, because I couldn't find them on YouTube, the videos from the last few classes. So
Okay, I'll show you all today. But
yeah, so excited.
yeah, we're here and it's time, so let's get started. Yak aya yich sitini stakatuhan stuga khatati kona khaya wuch in singet yu katangi stutul tu ya yuki. It's so good to see you guys. I feel really grateful that we're going to be studying Tlingit together today. Um, Thank you, Hatuch Lichéesh and KTOO and your partners for hosting this class. And thank you, everybody, for logging on and being here today. It looks like we have 35 people and it's our first day. So looking forward to this semester. I've been teaching this class for Hatuch Lichéesh for a couple of years now. I really enjoy it. This is a community class. It's a multi-level class. We have very beginners and people that are taking it at the university. And my job is to meet you where you're at and support your growth as a Tlingit language learner. So um, just enjoy the ride. Today we'll be sharing. I'll give you a class orientation. I'll introduce myself. I'll talk about what we're going to do today, a short recap. Um, so yeah. Naskiagi, ayaya ayagi, dis yadi yudawasa kuyadis jinkat katlaik yawahi. So it's the third day of the week, Naskiagi, aka Wednesday. September in Tlingit is called Dis Yadi. It's the child moon, and it's when animals are starting to wean. We do with less. Uh, Food might get a little bit scarcer depending on where you're at. And 11 days have passed this month. Chet ko ani le toga yudu asa ach kunana sayeya late ka renach ana clock you chetu asa jamin nach chet ka kunana yedi ye chet gashtadach. Llingit ka kunana yu gatangi ko atlitu chet kunalchish. So my Koyukon name is Neela Torah. I'm child of the Koyukon Athabascan people from Caltag on my father's side, and I'm white or German American on my mother's side. Our matrilineal lineage is from northern Germany on her side. So that's how I introduce myself, my mother's side, my father's side, what village or town we're from. And then I'm also a teacher of the Tlingit and Koyukon Athabascan languages. So Tlingit is not my heritage language. I do not have Tlingit ancestry, but I started learning Tlingit in 2017 while I was a student in Juneau on Tlingit lands and just fell in love with it. The programming, the teachers, the organizations who support Tlingit language. My heritage language is Koyukon Athabascan on my father's side, so I teach Koyukon as well. Just wanted to tell you all, welcome back. This class meets every Wednesday at 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Alaska time, and I put the GMT -8 because I don't know if that's helpful for folks, but I've worked with people from Teslin and Whitehorse before, and we used the GMT -8 as our mutual time zone language because depending on where you are, your state or territory may or may not do fallback and spring ahead. And so it's just always changing. But GMT -8 is Greenwich Mean Time -8, which is for some reason the central time zone of the world. And I added that to specify. So this is the time we'll meet. Obviously, you guys are all here. If folks have questions, we'll just keep working on it. But it looks like everybody made it to class today, so I'm happy. Today, like I said, we're just going to do a class orientation and welcome. And I have some language activities lined up for you too. But before we get started, are there any questions just on the basic housekeeping details of this class? It runs from September 11th today, every Wednesday, until December 4th. Um, so, yeah. Resources. These are the resources I'll be teaching from this term. First is the beginning Tlingit workbook, which I'll show you, the dictionary, which I'll show you, and then a new resource for me that I haven't taught from yet, but that I want to be focusing on this month is the Tlingit storybook or the Tlingit Shkalneegí workbook. And then I'll show you guys where to find our class recordings, both for this class and for the last terms. So I'm going to change my screen. I have all these resources downloaded, and every time I use them, I'll put them up on my screen for everyone to see. And if you want to download them on your own, I can show you how to do that. This is the same resource that we've been using in this class for the last few terms. And it's the Beginning Tlingit Workbook by René Lance Twitchell. René was my university professor. He's still my mentor for this class, and he uploads our class recordings for this class. He based the book off the original workbook called Beginning Tlingit by Nora Marks Downhauer and Richard Downhauer. So last time I saw this group, we had left off around here. We talked about Tlingit identity. We did some work on body parts. And so this is about where I'll be picking up for our use with the Beginning Tlingit workbook. There's still a lot to cover, and we'll just be taking it a little bit at a time since this class meets once per week. Another resource I wanted to show you is the dictionary. And I'll be taking you through this resource, showing you how I use it and explaining as I go. Big publications like this can be daunting at first if you're just getting started, so I'll share some user-friendly tips and tricks. And then a new one for me that I'm excited to work on with you is the Tlingit Shkalneegí workbook. So this one is really cool. We'll take a look at it today. But this workbook was a collaboration between Tlingit and Haida and Gold Belt Heritage Foundation. And they took two stories. They took Kohanti, and then the one that we're going to be watching today, Yéelcha Kudatankhidi. And they took there's videos on YouTube that we'll watch, and then they took all the words in those stories and put them into a very beginner-friendly book for us to study. So we'll be using it for the glossary today. And then our class recordings. After I record all our classes and I send them to my mentor, René. He uploads them to his website, and I'll share both the link and show you how to get there. So if I go to klinkitlanguage.com and scroll down, and I'll put this link in the chat for folks, to the section Learning Tlingit. There's a tab here. If you hover over it, it expands the different classes. And ours is this one, Tóoch, Lichéesh, and KTOO. So if you select it, this is the link I'm going to share with you.
can you share us the link in the email, please?
I'll put it in the chat and then I'll email it to our co-hosts
Eh,
at KTOO.
Oh yeah, and I was actually making notes on things like that, Carrie. Taking notes on that's one of the things I wrote down. Email draft to add these links to send them out to all the participants. So thank you for mentioning that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so there it is in the chat. And if you scroll down, there's some information here about our class culture, um, maintaining a safe environment where everyone is welcome to speak and encouraged to speak. We'll be adhering to guidelines to make sure all participants are respectful, encouraging of others, and not engaging in any harmful language or behaviors. This class is awesome. That's never been an issue for us. But our values are correct with kindness, speak with love, give everyone a chance to speak, no homophobia or racism of any kind. Generally, don't correct people immediately unless they ask for help. The way I teach is I'll have everybody repeat after me. I'll make a sound or a word. Everyone will repeat after me. And I can hear, even though we're on Zoom, I can hear if there's a mistake and I'll just address the group and everyone will try it again. So don't worry, you won't be singled out. This is a safe space. No, names should not be attributed to individuals out of this space. That's for conversations that can be where people are sharing personal stories or any uh, language revitalization is a very personal journey and a big part of a lot of our healing journey. So if we have trauma in the past and we share it here, we wouldn't say like, oh, Anna told me that one time when, etc. So that's what that value is. And then just don't be afraid. If you make a mistake, and then you learn from it, it helps other people learn as well. So it's all to say you're encouraged to speak here and to do your best. Your best is always good enough for me. Some resources, and then the part with our class recordings is down here. The heading says Winter 2024, and then they're organized by date. So it'll be the latest, most recent class listed on top, and then it'll go respectively farther back in time the farther down you go. And René puts a summary of what we, learned that day and specific words that we worked on. If there's a handout, he'll share it here. This last class on April 10th, I did a tech demo, and that ends up being a big part of how I teach. I usually try to just do it once per term, and try to just show it as easy as I can. Downloading the Lingít keyboard can be tricky, so it takes a lot of steps, and those steps will change whether you're on a PC or a Mac, but I'm versed in the Mac portion of it, and then usually I have a volunteer that's versed in the PC side that is willing to help. So anyway, luckily it was recorded on April 10th, and you all can review this video if you want to check it out on your own. Okay, so that link is in the chat. So class recordings, the way they work is I send them to René, usually in a bundle. So if you miss a class, that class might not show up in the recordings right away. It'll probably be closer to a month or 2 weeks. Last time I only did it twice because I was crammed, but I'm getting a little better at my time management, so hopefully they'll be up a little bit more frequently. Okay. Any questions so far? Alrighty.
I have one.
Yeah.
Where do I get the beginning Tlingit workshop? Where would I buy that at?
Oh yeah. So this book, the Beginning Tlingit Workbook, is available for purchase. Let me see if you can buy it online. Does anybody know if it's on Amazon?
It is on Amazon, yeah. I'm trying
Okay.
to remember who had a link on the website somewhere.
Okay, I'm gonna dig around in Amazon and I'll post it.
Um, And
Seal.
yeah, and yeah, if people are content to work with the PDF is also on this website there, if you can see the link. But yeah, if people want a hard copy, um, the most recent version is probably going to be from the Amazon. I think I
Okay.
think some I think sometimes the Alaska store has it, but last time I checked, I couldn't find it on their website. So
I just posted the Amazon link in the chat. It'll look like this. If you prefer to have a hard copy, it's available for purchase on Amazon.
Okay, I found it. Thank you all.
You're welcome. And like
And it's
Tom,
edition 2 that I should buy.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And then like Tom mentioned, you can go to the Sea Alaska Heritage website and see if
Oh,
it's
okay.
free. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. If you want to download it for free, just so that you have access to it right away, you can do that as well. It's listed here on our class page, Beginning Tlingit Workbook. If you click this link, it'll take you to a screen like this, where you're looking at it on your web browser, and you need internet access in order to open it this way. What I recommend doing is downloading it onto your computer. And to do that, you select this downward pointing arrow, and if you select it, it'll download onto your computer, and then you can open it, and it'll look like this. What I like about downloading it is that you have these bookmarks on the side, and you can jump to sections, which is really helpful if you're looking at a digitized book.
Will that be in the apps, or do you just type that in the search bar?
I would just go to this link and then to our class page that I put in the chat, and then select it right here.
So it's the link is what?
It's the one that I just put in the chat, Carrie. Not super
okay.
crucial. Yeah, not super crucial to have those downloaded because, like I said, for this class, I'll be putting it up on my screen for you to watch. It's just if you want to be looking things up outside of class, you are more than welcome to.
So Anna, the
Yeah.
other resource that you had mentioned, the new one that you're going to try to be using, is that
Yeah.
available anywhere?
I will ask Renee. That's a good question. I feel like it's published because he said I could teach from it and they have their logo on it. Yeah, it is published. So I'll email him and ask if he has a link to it. He emailed it to me and I don't know if it will. Let me see if I can put it in the chat. These are good questions. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to put this one in here.
sorry, I'm waiting. I'm just looking back.
I just sent it in the chat. It's 3 megabytes, so we'll see if it will go through. There. There you go.
Yay.
Yeah. So that's in the chat for you guys.
Hello, are you guys talking about the new Raven story?
Yeah, there's the Kuhanti and then also Yishka Kudatankahidi.
Yeah, so both of those are both available on the Tlingit and Haida YouTube channel.
Gunaftish. Yeah, we're gonna watch it today, and that's where we'll be looking at it.
Okay. So,
Awesome. Okay, we're back together. You guys are go-getters. I'm gonna just review one phrase from our last class in April. And for this class, we'll be always doing a little bit of conversation, a little bit of grammar, and a little bit of studying stories. So this would be our pronunciation portion. I'm going to show you a phrase that we learned last semester and just continue building on it using the workbook. So I'll make this large for us. And this is a phrase to ask somebody, are you hungry? If you're talking to one person, you say, "Iitke yan uwaha." So I'll break it down. Yeah, good. So you guys can unmute your mics and I'll show you each part and I'll just have everybody repeat together after me. So repeat after me. Ha. And then uwaha. And for folks who are brand new, you sound great. Lingít is a tonal language. So this accent above the double A here lets us know to increase our tone. Some people like to use their hand for people who learn by moving. Yeah, so it's low, low, high. So repeat after me. Uwa, uwaha. Yeah, good. The other interesting thing about vowels in Tlingit is they can be either short, meaning short in duration, or long. If it's listed as two letters together, a double letter, then it's long. If it's a singular letter, like this and it's short. So we pay attention to our vowel length and our tone. So you guys sound good, but let's do it one more time. Uwaha. Good. Adding on to this word, repeat after me, yan. Good. Good. Really good. And now the whole word, repeat after me, yan uwaha. Good.
Yan uwaha.
Good. This first word that I showed you comes at the end of the sentence and it's about being hungry. The next part I'm going to show you makes the question a yes or no question. So repeat after me. Ge. If you hear this particle on its own, ge, then that should let you know, oh, I'm being asked a yes or no question.
Yeah.
The first two sounds mean to you. So repeat after me. Eat. Again. Eat. Now, iitke.
Iike.
Good. Good. Really good. Repeat after me. Yan uwaha.
Yan uwaha.
Good. Good. This period in the middle of yan uwaha tells us to stop the air in our throats. So when you say uh-oh, you're doing a little glottal stop there. And it just tells you to stop the air in your throat between two sounds. If this period wasn't here and we didn't stop the air in our throats, we didn't do the glottal stop, it would sound like yanuaha, but we stopped the air. So repeat after me. Yan uaha. Good.
Yan uwaha.
Good.
But that's normal even in English. When you have a period at the end of a word, you stop.
Yeah. And then sometimes in English we put a hyphen like an uh-oh. That lets us know we need to stop there. Sometimes it's just a space in English. In Tlingit we put a period so that you know to stop the air. Okay, the whole phrase, repeat after me. Iitke yan uwaha. Good. And that means, are you hungry?
Uwaha.
Good. Good.
Can
Good.
you say it one more time, please?
Yeah, let's do it again. We have some brand new people in the class and everyone's sounding really awesome. Let's do it again. Repeat after me. Iit geyan uaha. Yeah.
Ye ya waha.
Really good. You guys are already, for people who are brand new, you're already getting the hang of vowel length and tone. So I can hear in your melody, as you're all sounding off, that your melody sounds good to me.
I have a quick question.
Of course.
So with the period in between the words, what is like punctuation in Tlingit for the end of a sentence?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Not to get ahead of ourselves.
No, that's perfect. So punctuation in Tlingit, I follow the guidance of my elder mentor, who is Shirley Kendall, and she has asked me and advised me not to put punctuation at the end of a sentence.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually for me, I'll put each sentence as its own line, and then I will put punctuation on the English side, because in English we rely on a question mark to let us know that we're being asked a question. In Tlingit, there are specific words and particles that will tell you you're being asked a question. And we want to spot those and recognize those. So that's what we look for.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is part of a longer dialogue, which we're not going to do today, but I'll keep building on it each week. We'll learn each one and we'll add a little more. But this is a short 4-line conversation that we made together as a class last spring. And it's, are you hungry? Yes, I'm hungry. What do you want to eat? I'm hungry for fish. And so it's a short conversation that we can practice, but we did a lot today and some people are brand new. So we'll continue working on it. Any more questions before we move on? Okay. I'm going to show you a video, and as George mentioned, these are videos that are available on YouTube on the Tlingit and Haida YouTube channel. And this video has a transcription in the workbook, the Tlingit Shkalneegí workbook that I shared with you. So we'll be watching the video and then studying it in the book together. This one is narrated by Nakish An, Hans Chester, and he has really beautiful pronunciation, and he's just a really good Tlingit language speaker and teacher. So I'm excited to show it to you. I'll show you on the website how to find it. I'll probably put this link in the chat after we get started, after we play it, just so that people don't accidentally start playing it and then have a little cacophony of the video going off. But a little bit more about the video. When Raven notices only the wealthy can access the Salmon House in the ocean, he enlists the help of KTOO to bring the house to shore. This ancient story tells us how Raven brought the critical salmon resource to all Tlingit people of Southeast Alaska. It was originally translated by KTOO George Davis, Shukshani Marge Dudson, and Kanak Ruth Demert. The animated book is narrated by Nakashan, Hans Chester, and illustrated by Kelsey Matafoot and Nick Foot. Raven and the Salmon House is part of the Our School is Being Strengthened book series, a collaboration between Think It Haida and Goldbear Heritage Foundation. So if you're brand new to Lingít, what I usually tell my beginners, I teach a lot of beginner classes, and for the first video, there are, subtitles on the video. And if you like, it's a great way for you to read along and listen to the sounds. However, if that feels like a lot to you and you're like, I'm getting overwhelmed, it's a 7-minute long video, then just sit back and watch the pictures. Just kind of listen to your body. If you're trying to push yourself to recognize words and it becomes a little bit too much, just go back to watching the story and listening. So let's check it out.
Shkalneegí, Hiya he na he ya na he ya hiya he na he ya na he ya
Chak aya chak takat ya Lingít ani ka ye ti hin awe eight hini khusiti ye yesh qa awshiyach ya akusani qya khat hini Kanadai hinkank. Takat ya Lingít ani ka ye ti khat ya hit ye buti ya eight hini ka. Chas ya jiddi dana ka shade nakhi chas has aya yak kank has dagau. Ayach litzin ya de ki ya eight hini ka de ya khali nikuchani khat ka. Hastu ani ku'uwu chas yakanash gedech siti yi a hastu yak husani kela yak utit a dak hasbu kuhu ya yech dutundatani yeti jiddi dana kakanash gedech siti yi a ku'u hastu khat has akaha ada yutu watan ya ade duji de Akwahaya, you ate katwutli hashi hit yidach. Awa, akadak se waha, yakanach katwa yawa, nak eki wutsaka dujiwu. Yech chawa da yutu watan. Ayashlitsini nak eki wutsaka tin ya khat hit kwak eki. Akayande kakwasakhat. Wanani swa anachkat wayawe duideye yausikha ye. Kleshke adeya akhsak khachunedi ihlitsini nakhtleki wutsaka desek kisataniya. Yashlitsini nak eki wutsaka dukiji tai ye ayau ye yesh kadukesh tsahwesh yahas kanashlich yakanadai hin klen yachte ya ash sechwat ya yesh adish kaudiyit ya deki yach litsini yachawa wed deki khat al-shad hit an akakecht ya litsini wutsaqatin. Idin awakach ya naqatin wahit. Kiade litsini ya shtakat du litsini wa anakausihat. On the wood ayati, Kashtakat ya dulhatzini, Hesh awushtuch ya hit. Dach tu jou dit hanen aanjats a chweilch. Ja tu kaak ye jou sika. At gashiyach anach gat wayadat. Hu awed du jik yeeti. Jalta kada tu yeeti letzin wanak klegi utsaga. Keert kaushi itinawa ya yech kleshwulzi dujik ya khata shad hit yank daka shausiti. Ach shuwatanwach ahat yu yawakha yesh tskhwech ach ashuyawatan qawa yata khaqat tluk chas til takat hasaji wanak yakhata shathitch yesh wulli yakhia Yakanadayi hin khahathini ayekte dachuk akwachat. Hastu tu sigu yachat ya yis hin yik yehasti. Stakat tak ya de kiet hin kade dach dak akwachat. Yachat hini yikte hasa ya dak Khat hin kiye has negatiyet has du kahak ku ayi has ajinakch. De kat tak ya linget ani kak ku ayes yan has unage ya khat hin da kaki. Idat kwa de kat ku wa jadidana kak anash gidech siti a. Khat ziden has du jide ak kwaha. Hastu at khai, hastu kusti, khusiti, khawakhat khwani hasasi khan kunach. Yayi daddi de aye yeti yesh khusiti yutleo ka. Ak on the wood ahuti ya. Dakte akawus khati yadde kiet hinkadach. Yukudatan kahidi.
Utsaka heya na heya na klegi utsaka heya na heya hiya he na heya na heya hiya he na heya na heya.
So cool. What thoughts do you guys have on your minds?
I didn't understand all of it, but it was powerful.
Cool, nice. Awesome.
I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting to see the graphics and you know, you could follow the gist of what they were trying to get across without having to read, because I can't read it, but it was interesting to get the gist of just by following the pictures, and I found that very interesting.
Yeah, nice. I did that as well. I had the same thoughts. Who else?
As I was reading along with the subtitles, I kind of noticed that the apostrophe and the underline vowels indicate kind of a throatier glottal sound. Is that consistent with throughout the language? Kind of reminded me of Arabic a little bit.
Oh, cool. You study Arabic?
Speak a little through family.
Oh, awesome. Arabic's a beautiful language. Yeah, so those were really good observations. If you have a pinch, that tells you to pinch the sound, you tend to make it a lot snappier, which is noted by an apostrophe. If you have an underlying consonant, then that tells you to pronounce it in the back of your throat. So yeah, that's consistent throughout the language, and that's a really
Thank
good
you.
observation. Yeah. What else did you guys notice or wonder or think?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed the name of the house Lichéesh. It is similar to a name of a house that we have in Ketchikan. In regards to the Kajuk pool, that pool, also known as the Fog Woman, belongs, I believe, to the Woodlahashi hit of the Ganachadi.
Oh. Thank you for sharing. Did you say Ganachati?
Ah,
Okay.
see,
I'm
my
gonna.
my father's uncle's people.
Okay. Ganachati. I'm gonna look it up. We have a list of clan names and house names that I refer to a lot in this class from the beginning Tlingit workbook, and I'm still learning about houses and clans. So I'll include that in a future class to look it up together. So apostrophe.
Yeah, it may just be a coincidence, but might be a connection. I'm not sure. I just noticed the name.
Awesome. Gunarchish. Anything else?
Yeah, I really like that our stories show our ancestral connection to these fundamental values, creating equity by enlisting other people, like the octopus to help and bring resources to people. So I think it's always fascinating to see these stories about Raven, who's, perceived as either a trickster or helpful, and that basically our deity is doing both, showing us, the negative sides of things, the consequences there, and also the positive consequences of being helpful and bringing community together. So I always like seeing these stories. It's really awesome to bring into our spaces now when we most need it.
Cool. Gunarchish. Thank you for your words. It's crazy how you can watch a 7-minute story and maybe you don't understand every single word, but you get the gist of it. And that's why I think this story will be a good access point for us to pick apart the meaning of each word slowly as we go. But I'm glad that you guys are getting a lot out of it already. We have 15 minutes left. Before I show you how I want to do our group research together as a class, were there any more thoughts, questions, observations you wanted to share?
I think the form line in the fish was just beautiful, and watching where they were swimming upstream and spawning, I just really like that part.
Awesome, Gunarchish. Yeah, good artists for sure. Sometimes people in my hometown of Seward will ask me, do you recommend native artists from specific towns? There's someone on a cruise line that wants to showcase indigenous artists, so I'm always getting more names and stuff to pass on. These two I know are favorites. Yeah.
This is Wutsaga. I put an old article in the chat. So just a little, I know it relates to the story relates to a clan house in Sitka, Dagina Hit. That's no longer there, but this is reference to the story.
Cool, thank you. Oh, awesome. Very cool. And then I like how in the credits too, they show at the end which clans the story belongs to. So I'm gonna show that again. This story belongs to the Tóoch, Lichéesh, and the Deshitan. Thank you for sharing that, Utsaka. Good to hear your voice again. Okay, so I'm going to show you where we can find the meanings of the words and how, as a group, that we can keep track of the ones we learn in a document. So this is how I've been doing it for the past couple years. I made this document for us, for our class, and it's a Google Doc. And this is how I keep track of words that I look up. So I have a column for Lingít, a column for English. I know that this particular group likes to have a third column sometimes for notes. And so the format of the table is not set in stone. We can expand it or change it, format it based on our group's needs and interests. So the way that I would study this story using the book is watch the first phrase, just something to start with, and then start looking in the glossary. The glossary will look like this. If you've downloaded the book that I sent you in the chat, you can go down to our story, and there's a glossary here. And we'll just look up one word for now, because we want to save something for next week. So I'm going to hit play, and I'll stop it after the first sentence. Okay, so that's our first line. We hear this phrase lets us know we're being told a story. It's like the way it was described to me. You hear that. It's like, okay, time to settle down and listen to the elder. It's time to gather around. They're telling us a story. So we're going to look up this word, and let me see if I can make it a little clearer. I know that my... So if you can see it in the subtitles, it's a CH pinch, a long high A, and then a KW. So that's the first word I'm going to look up. I like to keep it simple. I found one word. I want to know what it means, and so I'm going to type it in here. Oops. Now, where our workbook becomes handy is that all the words are put in here, so I don't need to worry about like, oh, maybe it's not in the book, which is really nice. So to access it, you select the glossary and then type your word into the search bar. I'm on a Mac, so it's Command F to open this search bar for me. If you're on a PC, it would be Control F. Type in your word. And it's going to jump us to this entry. I'll expand it. Let's do like this. So everybody go ahead and repeat after me. First I'll show you this pinch. Like one of you noticed there's an apostrophe after the consonant here. That tells you to make the sound sharp and snappy. We call it a pinch. So without the apostrophe it would be ch, but with the apostrophe it's ch. So we'll do it. Yeah. Okay, good. I can hear you. We'll do it with the vowel included. So repeat after me. Cha. Good. Now, another thing that you don't see in English is a rounded K at the end of a word. In Lingít, you do. So the way I like to describe this is you see a W, that tells you to round your lips. It comes after a K, so you're going to round your lips and breathe out the K. And your lips, I should see them shaped like this. Okay, so repeat after me. Good. Good. I can hear that. I can see that your lips are rounded. And I can hear that it's making the correct sound. When elders hear you without rounding your lips, it makes a different sound. It can mean an entirely different word. So it's really important to round your lips when you see a W. And it means ago, ancient, back, long ago, old, then. It can have a few meanings, but the description is long ago, back then, back in those days, in the old days, in ancient times. Most commonly translates as long ago, but in certain contexts or when said before a verb, it can translate to for a long time. Okay, so it depends on where you're hearing it and the rest of the sentence, but we can generally take that as long ago.
Or you could also do it like once upon a time.
Yeah, in English, that's what we would use if we're telling a story, once upon a time, and it's a very similar function in storytelling. Okay, I'm being told a story about another time. Okay, so I'm gonna put these in the translation. Maybe I'll use this one. And put it in my research here.
I have a quick question. I hope it's okay to ask now.
Of course.
With the spelling of Tlingit, with the T versus no T, what is the difference between those two?
Oh yeah. So the difference between the T and the no T, and I'll type it on the screen so it's clear. Basically, if you have a T, then that's the way you would describe it in English. So let me do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a T like this is how you would say Lingít in English and how you would write it. Without the T and the high tone written like this is how you would say Lingít and write it in the language. So the true pronunciation of Lingít, I'll make these larger, is an unvoiced L. It got anglicized to a TL and then somehow became a K when it's being described in the English language. But the true pronunciation is this Lingít L. To make this sound, you put the tip of your tongue on the back of your top front teeth, just as if you're saying a voiced L, like L. L. Yeah, note where the tip of your tongue touches your teeth. Now you're going to put it there again, but instead of activating your voice box, you just breathe out the sound, and it sounds like this. Did that sound come through?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, so everyone repeat after me. Lingít.
Lingít.
Okay.
Lingít. 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 Lingít.
Good. Yeah. Good. Really good question. I guess the only other thing I would mention is that the way it's written with the TL is used in the legal relationship between Tlingit people as indigenous people of the land and the federal government. So when we talk about like the parenthetical, if you put someone's name, like if you put someone's name, and then the parenthetical, this is a designation, their political designation as indigenous people of the land. It has to do with our legal relationship with the federal government. So mine would be like Anaklok, Koyakon, and it's about our land agreements. So that's another place you'll see it. Generally, the rule I've been told, if you're writing in the English language, use the TL. If you're writing and speaking in the Tlingit language, use a L. Yeah, that can vary. It's just how I've been taught. Good question. Any more yeah, any more questions? Okay, so we have a couple minutes left, and I just wanted to touch in about your language goals. Last term, the goals you shared with me included becoming a language teacher, being able to tell a story, learning to express yourself, and just retaining words, being able to recall them and say them without looking at your notes, speaking in conversations without notes, and giving words of encouragement. And so, yeah, I plan our lessons ahead of time, but if you share language goals or interests with me, I can incorporate them into our future lessons. So we won't do that today, but if you can be thinking about it for next term, then I'll make time to hear everybody on your thoughts. Any questions or comments before we go?
I just think it's great to be back and that you're teaching us again, and I'm very excited. And, you know, every time because this is my third term or that I've done this, and I am actually starting to pick it up and understand. And I was quite excited because I was talking to my sisters and I'm like, yeah, this is what we're learning. And the new one's starting. And they go, what did you learn last time? And I said, you know, we talked about where's the ear, the nose, what is the eye, the mouth. And I said, we could point it out. Like if they said, Carrie, where's the nose? And I'd have to repeat it and stuff. And I actually did surprise myself. I could say it, but now that I'm feeling under pressure, yeah, it just kind of went out of my head.
Yeah, you and me both. Don't worry, it happens to me too. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're happy to be back.
I am. So Shkalneegí, thank you for doing this again, and I'm looking forward to every class.
Okay. Awesome. Jamie Ann, did you have anything you wanted to add for closing?
Well, I'm gonna echo Carrie. It's so wonderful to be back with everyone and with you. And oh my gosh, that video was absolutely beautiful. One thing you said was pay attention to how your body feels. And I I didn't think that I was going to do that until my body said, pay attention to this, you know, because it was just like it came in so strong in this space between the heart and the throat. And it was just this feeling of bringing it back to life. And so I really am so thankful for that, Ganesh Tish.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, how our bodies respond to things affects how we learn too. So I'm really glad that you tuned in and that you noticed that.
Yeah, and then we'll see everyone next week.
Yeah.
And we'll gather like I took a bunch of notes. We'll gather some things together. Anna, I'll reach out to you for a few things that were mentioned, and then we can just send that out as a welcome back. And here's some things to review and try to get those links in that you mentioned. So for reference.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
All right, folks, have an awesome rest of your day. I'll see you next week, same time, same link.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenos dias.
Finish, Have a good day.